Okay, we are live. I think we are live. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me, as always, with these live playthroughs. Let me know if you can hear me and you can see me okay. And if you can, and everything's working, then welcome to a solo playthrough of Thebai, designed by David Turtsey, published by Board and Dice. And this game is going to be available at Essenspiel this year. This is a pre-production copy, so almost everything that you see here is final. There were a couple of pieces missing with this pre-production copy of the game, which is why I'm using plastic stands here, where it should be actual other counters. There is some crackling in the audio. Oh, that's, yeah, okay. That's interesting, because I did a live stream earlier on today, and everything was absolutely fine. So, yeah, okay. Let's have a look. I literally changed nothing. Yeah, okay. I have no idea why. I literally did a live stream this morning, a bit like last week. Oh, right, okay. That's worrying. Yeah, I literally did a live stream about an hour ago, which was absolutely fine, and I've done nothing. I've done absolutely nothing at all. So apologies if the audio is faulty. What I will do is I don't go anywhere, keep the stream going. I'm going to close the software, and yeah, well, I mean, I'll start closing things down. I'm now going to close down everything on my computer. Hopefully, it magically it works. Yeah, it's not a cable issue. I had the problem last week for no reason at all, and I had to reboot my computer in order to fix it. So if it's still an issue now, I've literally closed everything on my computer. If it's still an issue, then I'm just going to give a quick reboot. So bear with me. We should be back on. And I should be live. The computer has been rebooted. Very embarrassing for a sponsored stream. But what can I do when these computers decide to do random things? And if I hadn't done a playthrough this morning, I would have been thinking, oh yeah, something's gone wrong with my computer. But yeah, literally an hour ago, 2 hours ago, I was doing a live playthrough and everything was fine. So let me know if we are back. Yeah, I've rebooted the computer. It sounds worse. Oh. Right. Really sorry about this. I literally have absolutely no idea what's happened. Yeah. And I'm struggling to even think about what's happened. Has it normalized now? Is it now working? Because literally I've rebooted my computer. There is nothing else running on my computer other than streaming software. It's a bit better. Yeah, I'm not going to start analysing my computer, James. I appreciate the help, but there is nothing running on my computer. I have literally rebooted it, and nothing is happening other than the streaming software. So yeah, I don't know. And for those people that watched my playthrough a couple of hours ago, I think that was absolutely fine. I don't think there was any issues with that at all. So it's intermittent. I don't know why it's doing it. I can try plugging the microphone into a different USB port, maybe. Yeah, I mean, never had this before. So yeah, really sorry about this. Very embarrassing because this is a sponsored playthrough video. Even if it wasn't a sponsored playthrough video, this would be embarrassing. But my computer at the moment seems to be having issues, and I have no idea why it's doing it. Nothing has changed on my computer in the last hour, other than that I've just rebooted it now. So if it is still doing it, I mean, let me know. If you're saying it's intermittent, I could plug some headphones in and listen back to it. It's gone for now. It's cleared up. Okay. Yeah, who knows? Who knows what was going on? But yeah, thank you very much for letting me know that was an issue. But if it's okay now, let's start again. Should we just rewind time? And the reason why, if you're watching this video back afterwards and you think, why didn't Paul just cut that bit out of the video? If I was to edit the video once it's happened on YouTube, you lose all of the live chat. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to lose the live chat. There will be a timestamp in the video, so anybody can hopefully skip ahead to this point. But anyway, let's jump in. Everything's working fine. Welcome to a solo playthrough of Thebai. This is published by Board and Dice. This is their big new game for this year. I have already done a multiplayer playthrough of this. A couple of weeks ago, on a Friday, I did a 3-player tutorial and playthrough of this game where I taught the entire game and we played through it. I'm keeping checking the chat just to make sure the audio is still fine. Today, I am not going to be teaching you the full rules of the game. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be teaching you how the solo game works, and then we're going to be playing through the solo game. But I'm not going to be completely reteaching all of the rules of the game. So if you don't know how to play the game and you want to learn how to play the game, I would recommend checking out my other video that I've done. You don't need to watch the whole thing, just need to watch bits of it. But I will be explaining how the solo game works today, and you will kind of pick up mostly how it works. I will refer back to it, but there won't be a full tutorial. So, right, Windows has finished doing its background startup procedures. Yeah, it could just be that. It could just be that. So, we're going to be playing the game over 10 rounds. Now, I've got the round tiled like this, rather than as it recommends. You can see the first 5 of them are face up. This is normal. This is exactly how it's set up. These 2 are always the same, the alpha and the beta. But then, the rest of them, there is a seeded method for determining them. And we only see the first 5. Now, we know that there's an attack here. And the first attack is coming in on gate number 5. And we know that the second attack is coming in on gate number 4. There's another attack here. We don't know where that's coming in, but it's not 4 or 5. And there's another one here, which is also not 4 or 5. We're playing with the 2-player side of the board because the solo rules are set up for a 2-player game. So what I'm actually going to be doing now is I'm actually going to be explaining in this video not just the solo rules, but also the rules for the 2-player game, which I didn't explain in the previous video because that was 3 players. So, the thematic introduction for the solo game is Antigone's rebellion. Upset that her brothers' senseless feud over the throne has led their people to bloodshed, Antigone decided to take matters into her own hands. She is determined to take control of the city and restore order. As one of the king's supporters, this puts you in a precarious position. While the Argosian army threatens the city from outside, Antigone's efforts to undermine the city's rulers create chaos within. You'll have to deal with both threats if you want to keep Thebes from falling apart entirely. So that's what we're doing. We are essentially competing with Antigone for the most victory points. We both start on 10. And Antigone works in a different way from a human player. She doesn't have a player board. She doesn't ever have any money or any resources. Everything she wants to do, she gets for free. There are certain things where she's going to score in different ways, and there are certain ways, certain parts of the game where she's not going to score at all, but we are going to score. So, what do we do? We set up the board as normal. I am the first player, so I go on there. We've done the board as normal for a 2-player game. So we've chosen 1 tile from me, which was my choice. We've got a random tile from Antigone, and then we get 2 tiles from a non-player colour, and they get shuffled together and they get placed there. We've got the 2 tracks over there. We've got my dice as if I'm the first player. We've got all of that set up. And we've got an extra dice because there are various times in the game where we need to roll and decide a number from 1 to 3. So I'm actually using a dice from another colour in there. And we have various decks of cards, which I'm actually going to show you now at the bottom here. So what we've got is, the first thing is we've got this card. This is a Destiny card. There are 6 of these included in the game, and you pick one of them at random. And that is essentially what Antigone's focus is. They're all different, so we know which of the deity track, the divination tracks, I think they're called. Anyway, which of those she's going to focus on. And every time she gets to resolve this card, which will be a few times during the game, these are the things that she's going to do. So as I say, there are 6 of them included in the game, and you pick one of them. We have an action deck here. Now, this action deck is actually made up of 20 cards. It has to be 20 cards. But 16 of them are basic and 4 of them are advanced. So what you do is you pick 4 advanced cards, you add them into the 16, you shuffle them so that you have a deck of 20 cards, and there is this card on the bottom. So this is the very last action that she's going to take in the game, which basically means she's going to do that. The rest of the cards get shuffled and placed on top, and you always reveal the top one. Now, we also have these cards. These are the Herald cards. So you use these in a 2-player game for various things, but you're also going to use them in a solo game. So what happens is we shuffle all of these cards and we deal out 2 of them at random. Now, if you're familiar with a number of other solo modes, and this one is co-designed with David Turtsey and Casper, who's in the chat. So if you like the solo mode, you got that guy to thank. Essentially, you've got some idea of what she's going to be doing on her turn. She will do 2 actions per turn. This is going to be the first action she's going to do, and she's going to use this here is representing which of these 3 cards is going to be the focus. So you do have some idea of what she's going to do on her turn. You don't know what action she's going to do next because it's underneath this one. And if the arrow was pointing to this card, you don't actually know what's on it until she does the action and then you reveal it. So that's how these cards work. You'll see them more in detail as we play. But to finish the rest of the setup, I need to choose which one of these starting contracts I'm going to have in my hand at the start. So I'm going to take, based on what I think I might want to do on my first turn, I'm actually going to take this one. So that goes into my hand. I seem to already have a card in front of me. That should not be there. That should be in the deck. And then what we do is we roll this die, 3. So Antigone's going to take this one. Now Antigone gets this card, and it's essentially, it's completed straight away. So she doesn't have to gather the resources to fulfill contracts or anything like that. She's automatically done them, which is a big cheat. Now, we discard the rest of the starting contract cards, and we deal 4 new ones into the offer. Right, okay, so I think I've done with the setup. So 10 rounds. We have reference cards which have pretty much got all of the rules of the game on. And what's going to happen is I'm going to take the first turn in the game because my marker is on top of this track. And I have an action phase. And I do 5 steps of my action. No, 4 steps. 4 steps of my action phase. 1, 2, 3, 4. And at some point during my action phase, I can complete a contract, but only 1 contract per turn. And then after I've done my action, Antigone is going to take her turn, where she gets her action phase. Her action phase is different from mine. And then we have a fate phase where this tile is resolved. The first tile on the timeline is resolved. And yeah, after that's been resolved, we then flip that over and we're going to reveal that one. But because we're playing a solo game, and this is also the case for a 2-player game, before we resolve the fate tile, we're going to do something with this card. And that is going to represent the fact that there's another player moving things around the board. Because if you remember from the previous playthrough, this part of the game is actually really interesting and clever. And when you move your Archon over other people's dice, they level up. So in a 2-player game, that doesn't happen very often. So we have effectively a sort of sneaky third player who comes in and does that and promotes other people's dice. Again, you'll see that happening soon. So it's my go. Step 1 of my turn. Do I have a citizen in my supply? I do. So we don't do step 1 of my turn. That's very simple. Then we do step 2 of my turn, where I can place one of my citizens either into the city here or onto my estate. Now, what are we going to do? I think I'm going to get myself lots of resources at the start of the game. That's what I want to do. I'm going to get lots of resources. So I'm going to place my level 1 citizen. In fact, I'm going to place my 1-star citizen. So my level 1 citizen, but got half a promotion. I'm going to put it there. And then I can resolve either this effect or this effect. But if I pay money equal to the level of the citizen, which I do, I can resolve both effects. So one of them is to get 2 money, and the other one is to get 2 pottery. That's it. That is that part of my turn done. Then I get to move my Archon. Now, at the start of the game, my Archon is off the board, so I can place it on the board. I can put it on any of those 4, and I essentially get to do the action that's on it. And I'm going to go there, and I'm going to get myself 2 more pottery. Now, the Archons in this game are interesting, because when they're on a space, they cover up that space completely. So if there was an Archon there when I wanted to place my dice and use the space, you can't. You can't actually use the space. It's completely covered over. Now that's step 3 of my turn. Step 4 of my turn is using a metic tile, which I don't have one of those. But remember I said earlier, I can complete 1 contract per turn. And this contract requires 2 pottery. So I'm going to do it. And the benefit of doing it is I get 1 money and I can promote 2 different citizens, which can be anywhere. So I'm going to promote this citizen to level 2. There he is. And then I'm going to promote this citizen from a 2-star. That's not right. That shouldn't be a 2-star. That should be a 2 to a 2-star. I'm just going to double check that in the rulebook. I think I start the game with a 1, a 1-star, and a 2. Yeah. So I'm going to promote that 2 into a 2-star. And that's that contract done. That's going to get tucked there because there's going to be end of game scoring based on a set collection mechanism. And I've got 1 green one. Right. That's it. That's my turn done. So let's have a look at Antigone's first turn. And we're going to zoom in and I'm going to show you how this works. So as I mentioned earlier, this is the first action that she's going to do. So she's going to build one of her buildings from a stack onto the board. And then she's going to get 2 points for every colour match of a roof. So what we do first is we roll the pink die or the extra die and we've rolled a 2. So that means she is taking from her second stack. So these are her 3 stacks of tiles and there's 3 in each with a neutral 1 on the bottom. So number 2 means she's building this one. But where is she going to build this on the board? Well, the arrow is pointing to this card of these 3. So it's this one. And this is going to determine where she's going to build it, but only as a tiebreaker because she wants to build it to match as many coloured roofs as possible. So what we have here is we have yellow, yellow, brown and brown. Is there anywhere that I can place this on the board where there would be a double colour match? And remember, you can colour match with the outside of the board, but I don't think there is. There's a yellow and a brown here, but these are on opposite sides, so I can't place this anywhere. I don't think there's anywhere on the board I can place this where there would be 2 colour matches. If there was, that's where she'd place it and she'd get 4 points. But there's plenty of places where we can get 1 colour match. We can get a colour match there, we can get 1 colour match there, we can get 1 there, we can get 1 there, we can get 1 there. There's loads of places. So all of these are fully explained in the index at the back of the solo rulebook. And it's basically find the space with the most matching roofs for the top tile of that stack. If there are multiple spaces, see the general tiebreaker. And then place the tile on the chosen space. You can choose to orient it however you want. So the general tiebreaker rules, this is what is referred to by this here. So what we're doing is this is a map of the Citadel, I think it's called. And that is the space where she wants to place it initially. Now, if that space is occupied or illegal, you go to the next one. And then if that one's not possible, you go to this one. And then you go to the top of the next row. And you basically loop round like this until you eventually find one where she can place it. So there's already something there. So this is the next one. No colour match there. So we go there. There is a colour match there, but I believe it has to be adjacent to an existing piece. So it can't be there. We go there. No, we go there. Yes. There is a legal space with 1 colour match. So we're going to put it there and she gets 2 points. Now that might seem quite complicated. Trust me, once you get used to this system of checking the space and then going sort of in reading order, well, not reading order, that way, if you read vertically, then it does actually flow a lot better. I got to grips with it this morning after about sort of half an hour of playing it. But that's it. That is her first action. And I am looking to the chat because if I do anything wrong, Casper will tell me that I've done something wrong. But I think I've done it right. So then what we do is we discard that card. That's gone. That's out of the game now. And then we resolve the next one. So we don't know what this is going to be. So what she's going to do, she's going to place one of her hoplites onto the board and level it up twice. Now she starts the game with 4 hoplites, all of level 1. So we're going to level it up to 1 star and then to level 2. But where are we going to place the hoplite on the board? Well, these AIs are trying to simulate human players. And we know that the first attack is coming in here because of this tile here. So the first attack is going to come in here. So what she wants to do is she wants to place her hoplite on the board in the row of the upcoming battle. But if you remember from the previous playthrough, if you are on one of the spaces in between the rows, you actually count for both. So for all she knows, there might be an attack on gate number 6 later on in the game. And therefore, by placing it on rows 5 and 6, you cover both. And my top tip for the game, whenever you're wondering where to place your hoplites on the board, I would generally never place them in the actual specific row. I would always put them on the in-between rows because then they cover two different areas. I say always. There are times when you might not want to do that. And also remember the rules for hoplites is they can go anywhere. Whereas citizens can only go next to the tiles, hoplites can actually go anywhere. So she wants to place it on the row where there is an upcoming battle, or the next battle, which is row number 5, prioritizing between two different rows rather than just on the row itself, preferably touching one of the Cadmea tiles, preferably. So is there a space where she can touch one of the tiles? Well, there is. There's there, or there's there. Both of those are on that row and they're both touching one tile. Amongst the spaces in the same row, she prefers the ones that touches two tiles. Well, there isn't any that touch two tiles. If multiple equally preferred spaces, we use the general tiebreaker. So again, we go back to here, and this card is also pointing at this, which is this one. So we're going to go here. We're going to basically find a space from the blue highlighted one and going round like that, which means we look at this space first, and this is a valid space. So that's where it's going to go. I think that's right. And again, I will look at the chat to make sure I've got that right. But yeah, I think I've got that right. And she's leveled it up from 1 to 1 star and then again to 2. And that's that card done. Now we do get to reveal the next card on top of the deck. She's not going to do this as an action, but it means we do know what action she's going to do next. And this is the Destiny card. So she's going to resolve all of this as her next action. But the next step is that she's now going to place her Archon on the board. And where's she going to place her Archon on the board? Well, we use that arrow. It's pointing to the middle card. So we look at this card. That's what she wants to get. She wants to get pottery. So we look on the board to see, is there a space where she can get pottery? If there is, she literally just goes straight to that space. She doesn't actually move like a human player would. You just pick it up and you put it on that space. There isn't one. There is no space on the board where she can get pottery because I'm there and I've gone in the shop and I've closed the door behind me and I've turned the sign round and it says not open for business and she can't come in and get some pottery. So instead, she looks at the card and uses the general tiebreaker rule. So she wants to go here. There isn't a tile. So she goes here. Yeah, that's it. So she goes there. Now, she doesn't get any benefit from the tile itself, but every dice which is surrounding the tile where she ended on gets promoted. So this is great for me. I anticipated her move correctly, and that die goes up. So her own or mine, that has now been promoted. Let's just make sure I've got that right. Move the Archon, check the Herald card, move Antigone's Archon to an available Cadmea tile, promote each dice touching the Cadmea tile, and then this is where the card gets discarded. Because we've used this card for that Archon placement, that gets discarded. It's going to come back later because we're going to run out and we get a new one from the deck. And that is it. That is her turn done, I think. Right. Next, we're going to resolve the Fate tile, but remember what I said? In a 1 or 2 player game, we do something special. And that special thing is we reveal the top card of this deck and everything, every dice that's in that area gets promoted. So we look at the board and it's here. Everything in here gets promoted. There's nothing there. But the next thing we do is we place one of these Plaza tiles. Now, these Plaza tiles kind of represent a third dummy player placing something on the spaces between the Cadmea tiles, and it allows players to move their Archons over it. So I have played a 2-player game of this, and these really change the game up because then you've got extra movement options within the Citadel. And it wants to place one of these there, but that's not next to anything. So we don't, I believe this is correct, I believe we don't keep going through until we find one. It's, can this dummy third player place one around there? No, so we don't. And Casper, if you can just confirm that that is true, then that's that done. And then we resolve the Fate tile. Now, there are good Fate tiles and there are bad ones. The good ones are the ones that give us benefits. The bad ones are the conflicts. Antigone doesn't take part in any of the ones which give benefits. So this is just me. I can either take a new contract or I can do 2 exchanges for resources. I'm going to take a new contract and I've already got a green one and I kind of want to do some set collection, although that's amazing. but I don't have 4 pottery. That's pretty good, actually. Do I want to do that one? That's also really good. That's going to allow me to place another building on the board. Oh, but that allows me to place 2 hoplites. Oh, choices. Right, I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to take that contract. That goes into my hand. Casper said, yes, don't place the plaza. Excellent. I understood that rule correctly. Thank you. So that is it. That is the end of the first round. We're done. And there's only 10 rounds in the game. This is a really quick game once you know the rules and you're not having to explain it to a live audience. So now we reveal the next tile and we can see ahead of time what that is and what benefit that is going to get. And if you were not live streaming this, if you were playing this at home, you would spend more time looking ahead and working out what these are going to give you and then allowing that to influence your decisions so that you're going to score lots of points for them. Round 2, my turn. I'm still going first. Turn order does not change until you have a conflict. Do I have a dice in my supply? I do. Do I want to place a dice on the board? I think I do. So I'm going to place the 1. Oh, now this is interesting because that's come out. Right, this works. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go here and I am going to pay 1 money because my citizen is level 1. If it was level 2, I'd have to pay 2 money. It's getting a bit expensive. And I'm going to do both of these effects. So the first effect is to pay 1 grape to gain 2 movements on these tracks. Okay. Now, I normally like to focus on one of them, but I'm actually going to move, these should be within 0. I'm going to move 1 space up on there and 1 space up on there because that allows me to promote a citizen and promote a hoplite. So one of my hoplites is going to get promoted to 1 star, and this citizen that was a 2 star is going to get promoted to a 3. There you go. And if you don't know the game, what happens is they level up. They go from 1 to 1 star, 1 star to 2, 2 to 2 star, 2 star to 3, 3 to 3 star. When they get promoted again, they ascend. And they go over here and they become councillors. And that's essentially end of game victory points. And if hoplites get promoted beyond 3 star, they become leaders. Right, so we've placed the die. I've spent the money. I'm doing 2 effects. I've done that one. I'm now going to do that one, which is basically to spend some bronze armor to place a hoplite on the board. So we're going to place my 1 star hoplite. Now, I kind of want to go in the 5. Knowing that there's a 4 next, I'm going to go there. Yeah, there you go. That's where I'm going to go. That's it. That's that movement done. Now, I have a contract. Oh, rats. I was going to do this contract. And I can't do this contract because I need a breastplate. Well, that's messed up this entire turn. Okay, so I'm not going to do the contract and I'm not going to undo the move. I really should have thought about that beforehand. I needed the breastplate for this. Okay, so instead, I've got 2 options. I can move my Archon around the board, but if I move over my own, it's going to demote it. Or I can bring the Archon back and just get 1 money. But I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to move over an empty space. So once per turn, when you are moving your Archon, you may spend 1 money to move over an empty space. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to land on that space and I'm going to demote a citizen. I think that's what that is. Yeah, demote a citizen to get any 2 resources of my choice. Okay, so we're actually going to demote this 2-star citizen here down to a 2. It's like, what have I done wrong? You turned up late. Don't do it again. And I'm going to get 2 resources. And surprise, surprise, I'm going to get a breastplate and I'm going to get some grapes. And then I'm going to complete a contract, which requires 2 pottery and 1 bronze armor. And that allows me to place 2 hoplites into the city and return my Archon back to my base, which means I can place it next turn wherever I wanted to. So I'm placing 2 hoplites, and that's another contract done. where are we going to go with these? They're both ones. We know this is going to get attacked. So this is going to be a bit tricky for terms of money. But that's okay. I'm just going to put them down there. I'm going to secure that row. If a hoplite ascends, it becomes a new commander. Yes. Oh, if that was a question from somebody else. Okay, right. I think I'm done. Yes, I'm done. Right, so now we go over to Antigone. So Antigone is doing her destiny card, which is all of this. This is quite powerful. Okay, so the first thing she's going to do is she's going to move up on this track. Now, moving up on these tracks, she's not going to get any benefits whatsoever unless it has victory points on it or if she gets right to the top. But she's competing with me on this track for turn order. Then she's going to place one of her hoplites, promote it from a 1 to a 1 star. And where does she want to go? Well, she wants to go in here on 2 rows if possible. So she's not going to go on that row. She's going to go here. And then if a tie break, it's going to go on this one, which is basically that space. No, that space, yes. So it goes there. Okay, then she's going to level up a citizen and place it. So from a 1 to a 1 star. And then she's going to level up another citizen twice. So from a 1 to a 1 star to a 2, she's going to place those. Now, we've not seen her place citizens on the board. So the rules for her placing citizens are she uses the general tiebreaker, but she prefers to go next to 2 Cadmea tiles instead of 1. So again, we look at this. It's pointing at this card, which is this one. So that is where she wants to place. Now she will only go there if there is space. Otherwise, she goes down and finds one. So that space there is here. And there is a space there next to a Cadmea tile. So that's where she goes. However, she's then placing another citizen. And this time it can't go there. So what we do is we go all the way down here. Then all the way up here. And we find a space here. And that's where she goes. So that's her first action done. We then discard this card. That's gone out of the game. And then we reveal the next one. This is her second action. Okay, the reason why this has got a gold background is this is one of her advanced cards. So this is a more powerful card. And what that means is she's going to move up 2 spaces on the track, which matches her destiny. So she's going to move 2 more on that track. And then what she's going to do is she's going to promote a citizen and place it onto the board. So very similar to what we've just seen, but this time she's using that card with that as the space. So first thing is she moves 2 up on this track. So she goes 1, 2. And then she's taking a citizen, leveling it up from 1 to 1 star. And she's placing it there. She wants to place it here. And there is a space around here, so it goes there. Okay, right. Next, that gets discarded. That's her second action. Now we do Archon movement. So again, what we're doing is we are looking at where the arrow is pointing to. We are looking for what's printed at the bottom, which is this. Is there anywhere on the board that allows her to advance up that track? There isn't. That icon is not visible on the game board at the moment. So instead, we're going to choose that space and we're going to keep going down. And eventually, we will find one. Now, I believe she has to move. Casper will confirm this in the chat because that card is actually pointing to the tile that she's on. So I think she has to move. Please let me know if I've got this right. If she does, she's moving to there. If she doesn't have to move, she stays where she is. Either way, she's then going to promote all of the dice surrounding the tile that she's on. So it's definitely this one. So my 3 goes up to a 3 star. And I'm going to wait for Casper to answer in the chat. He's not said yet. Right, I'll try and find it in here. So her Archon movement. Check the bottom of the... Yeah. Move it to an available Cadmea tile with the depicted benefit. If no such tiles exist, use the general tiebreaker. Yeah, so I think she has to move. I think she can't stay on the current one. It does move. Right, so she moves to here. That's promoted. And she's promoting all of her own ones. So that goes to a 2. That goes to a 2. And the hoplite goes to a 2 star. Right, so she's moved her Archon. She's promoted everything. That's it. That's the end of her turn. Then, because we're playing a two-player game, we reveal this card, and everything here gets promoted. So again, this is representing a third dummy player moving around the board and promoting things. So that goes to a 2-star, that goes to a 1-star, that goes to a 2. And then, do we place a platter around this tile here? No, we don't. That gets discarded. Oh, we were supposed to have discarded one of these, weren't we? Yes. This was used for Archon movement, so that should have been discarded. And then that should have come in. Yes, okay, we're good. Then we do the Fate tile. So again, it's another good one. And I can choose to upgrade one of my pieces in the city twice, or one of my dice on my estate once, or one of the dice in my supply once. So I could, I mean, that's a 3-star. If I really wanted to, I could promote that right now and it would become a counsellor. If I really wanted to grab one of those end of game conditions. But I think I'm going to level up this one twice. So it goes from a 1 to a 1-star and then from a 1-star to a 2. That's it. That's that tile done. We now reveal the next one. That's the end of round 2. Right, round 3, and this is the round where there's going to be an attack. Now, the first attack in the game is at strength 1. We've easily defeated them, but the more you defeat them by, the more points you're going to get. And whoever defeats them by the most is going to get the gate tile, which is going to get extra bonuses and things like that. Also, the card, there might be a +1 on it, so it might be a little bit stronger. But after the battle, and this is a really important thing to remember, you have to pay your troops. If you don't pay your troops, and it's 1 drachma each, they disappear. Which, if they're just 1s, you're like, yeah, that's fine. I don't mind. I'm not going to pay you. You can go home and I'll hire Dave instead. Dave's much better. But because I want these hoplites to protect row 4, which is going to be the battle in 2 turns' time, I kind of want the money to be able to pay for them so that I can keep them on the board. That's my thinking. We will see what happens. Right, it is my turn. It is round 3. I've got 1 dice left. Now, fundamental rule of the game. You cannot place all of your dice into the city. At least one of your dice, before your supply runs out, must be placed onto your estate. So therefore, I have to place this onto my estate. Is that okay? Am I happy with that? Or is there something else that I'd prefer to do? It's a level 2, so this actually fixes my problem. Yes, this does. I'm going to go on here because this space gets me money equal to the level of the dice. So I go on there and I get 2 money. And I also get 1 good of my choice. Well, I don't have any armor at the moment, but there's contracts coming up and there's these. Oh, and there's those. And I'm about to place my Archon. So my Archon could go on. Ooh. Right. That's the sound of something clicking in Paul's brain. What was I doing? Yes. I'm going to gain a grape. Then I'm going to place my Archon. And because my Archon is off the board, I can put it wherever I want. I'm going to go here. I'm going to spend a grape. And I'm going to move up 2 on the tracks. And I'm going to move up this track twice. Because that allows me to promote a citizen. Which means this citizen that was a 3-star has ascended, which means they go over here and they're going to become a counsellor. Now, there's good reasons for that. I get the scoring thing that I want, and I do have a plan. I get 3 points, so I'm currently winning, which is great. But the downside is I've lost one of my really powerful dice. But that's fine. Oh, I also got a metic tile. When I went over that space, I got this metic tile. And this is the other thing that you can do on your turn. Step 4 of your turn is you can use a metic tile. But, and I did see a couple of other people who've done videos on this game, and they missed this rule. The metics tile are color-coded. You can only use them on the row of their color. So this is a blue metic tile. I can only use it on the blue row, and the blue space is occupied at the moment. That's fine. I will keep that in my supply. But that's it. That is my turn over. So I'm not going to zoom in on these cards anymore. You've kind of got the idea, hopefully. But the first action that Antigone is going to take is she's going to place a hoplite, level it up 2 steps. So 1 to a 1-star, and then to a 2. And then she's going to place it in the city. And she's going to place it again. She wants to go on row 5 because that's where the battle is. She wants to go on these 2 rows if possible. None of them are next to a Cadmea tile. So we're looking at this card, which is this card, which is this one. So it goes there. That's her first action. Her second action is she's moving 2 up on here. So 1, 2. And she's then another hoplite. Wow. This is crazy. She's doing them all really early. So 1 to a 1 star, then to a 2. And we're using this as the type. It's either here or here. This is where she's going. And according to this, it's that space going round, it's that one. This is a crazy amount of strength. There's like one guy about to turn up with a spear and he's got the entire garrison of the city saying, no, go away. Yeah, it's quite funny. This probably wouldn't happen in a multiplayer game, or actually it might, because you get so many bonuses for being over the strength that's needed. It might actually be something a human player would do, but they would need a lot of money to keep these hoplites on the board. That's it. That's her second action done. We're then going to move the Archon. So we're moving the Archon to a space that allows the promotion of a hoplite. Is there one? There isn't. That allows movement of a hoplite, but not promoting of a hoplite. So there isn't one, which means we are, what do we do? We're going there. So we go to there. We don't, right, it's there. Goes on that one and promotes every dice around that space. So from a 2 to a 2 star. Yes, that's Archon, movement, and promoting done. So I believe that's the end of her turn. Yeah, I think that's the end of her turn. So now we do the dummy third player thing. So everything along here is getting promoted. Yeah, maybe defending or not. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, she's going quite heavy on defending. So everything here gets promoted. So that goes to a 2 star. That goes to a 2 star. That goes to a 2. And that's it. And then we place a Plaza around here, but there isn't one. So, right. And now we are resolving the attack. So the first attack is coming in. It's strength 1 because it's the first attack. We reveal the card. It's a +1. So the total strength of the attack is 2. Now, each player has to defend, what's the word I'm looking for? Individually against that attack. So I have a total combined strength in here of 4, which is 2 more than what's needed. So I score 2 points. Antigone has 8. But thankfully for me, she doesn't score any points from this. She doesn't score points. She doesn't lose points. However, she's going to get the gate. She's going to get the gate because she's got way more strength than me. But because I at least defeated it, or had equal, I get the breastplate. And in fact, how many did I have? I had 4 and they had 2. Okay, that's a shame. If they were only 1, I would have got a second breastplate. Because if you are 3 more, you get an extra one of these. So I get that. And the gate is just removed from the game. In a multiplayer game, the other player would get the gate. But in the solo game, it's just removed. Right, the next attack is coming in on row 4. And that's going to be strength 2. That's that tile done. Almost. Right. Because whenever there is a conflict, various other things happen. And the first thing is, once we've resolved the conflict, we need to pay our troops. So I'm going to pay 3 money to keep all of mine on the board. And again, Antigone doesn't need to pay. Then what we do is any citizens that are on the path, they get to claim objectives, which is going to be end of game scoring. So I'm actually going to go here and I'm going to say, that's the one that I want for the end of the game. And then we just turn order. So she's ahead of me on this track, which means she's now taking the first turn from now on. Right, that's it. That's the end of round, what was that, 3? I think that was 3. Yeah, end of round 3. So round 4, she's going first. One of Paul's hoplite dice has a value of 2. Yes, it does. That one is 2. That one is 1, and that one is 1. So I've got a total of 4 strength. I might have a preset. Hang on a minute. Just bear with me a minute. I do. There you go. It's a preset. It's a little bit more zoomed in. And you can see, hopefully you can see, that is strength 2. These are much easier to see in person than they might look on the overhead camera. But yeah, I had 4 strength, which is why I still defeated it anyway. Right, okay, so yeah, she's going first, and the first thing she's doing is this action, which is 2 steps up on the track that she likes and 1 step up on the other one. So she goes 2 up on there and 1 up on there. That's it. That's dead easy. That's the easiest card ever. Second action. Right. Now, this icon means that she's taking 2 contracts. Now, which contract is she going to take? Well, like a human player, she's trying to collect sets of different colours. She's already done one of these contracts. So she's looking in the market for a different type of contract, and she wants the one that's got the most resources on. So this would require 3. This would require 2. This would require 3. If tied, she takes the leftmost one. So she's taking this one, and she immediately gets, according to this card, 1 point per resource that was on the contract. So she gets 3 points, and that's that contract done. Then she's doing it again, because the card says 2 contracts, but we replenish it. So she doesn't want red, she doesn't want blue. So she's taking either that one or that one. Oh, no, that's red. So she takes that one. And there's 2 resources on it. So she gets 2 points. Yeah, sorry, she wasn't going to take that one because it was already red. Okay, that's it. That's her 2 contracts. And I think that was her second action. Yes. The colours are a tad more saturated on video than in real life. Yes, I have the colours turned up a bit for the camera, just so it looks a little bit better. In fact, I'm looking at it on my screen and it looks about the same, but your computer monitor might be different. Then we're going to do Archon movement. So she wants to go somewhere where she can promote a citizen or gain a contract. Yep, sorry, look, none of those on the board. So instead, you're going to go here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. There, she's going to go there. So that promotes that from a 2-star to a 3. And then that card goes. I need to remember to be discarding these cards. Let me get a new one. And that is the end of her turn. But we don't do the fate phase yet because I get a turn. I've not had a go yet. So I get to do my turn. Yeah, she's done that, she's done that, she's done that. Right, what am I going to do? Well, start of my turn, I don't have any citizens in my supply. So you get back all of the ones from your estate. Only the ones from your estate. You do not get the ones back from the city. Another very important rule that I think some other people have got wrong. So I get that one back, and I get a new one depending on how many columns I have unlocked. I've only unlocked the first column, so I just get a new level 1 citizen. And that isn't my turn, that's just step 1 of my turn. What am I going to do now? Well, I haven't got any money, so we need to be getting some money for all sorts of reasons, and unfortunately the money space has gone. So what am I going to do? Oh, contracts are refilled after the action is fully resolved, not immediately. Oh yeah, thank you. I got that wrong. I did get that wrong. Apologies for that. I'm not going to undo and fix it now, but Casper's right. You don't refill the contracts immediately. You only do it at the end of the action. So she shouldn't have been able to take... Well, in fact, she did. I don't think she did anyway. She didn't take the one that came in. So I think we're okay. But yeah, thank you for that clarification. What do I want to do? I could just go on the board and just do one thing. Okay, I do want to be getting more buildings out. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here and I'm going to place this building out because I've got the objective that's going to get me 3 points for every one of these I get rid of. So I'm going to place this and I'm only going to get 1 colour match bonus. So which colour match bonus do I want? It's either brown or white. I'm going to go brown. I'm going to go with a brown colour match bonus. That's the one I want. So where am I going to place it where I can get a brown colour match bonus? And I'm also thinking ahead because I want to be able to move my Archon. So I'm going to place it here. There's a brown colour match bonus, and the brown colour match bonus is that I can promote 2 different hoplites. So we're going to promote that one to a 2, and this one from a 2 to a 2-star. Right. So I've done that. I've done the action. Now, Archon time. I'm going to move. Oh, I don't have the money. The plan's failed. Oh dear. And you have to do the Archon before you do the Metic tile. The Archon is step 3 of your turn. The Metic tile is step 4. Okay. My plan was to move over that, demoting it, to move to here to get the 2 grapes. Because I like grapes. But I don't have the money. So my only options are to move over this, demoting it, and then spend a breastplate to place the hoplite, or just removing it and getting money. I'm going to do that. I'm going to remove it and get money. Never normally do that. Never normally do that. Okay. And then step 4 of my turn, I can use this if I want to. And I'm actually going to use it. Now, these are not permanent. Once these are used, the next time we do a refresh, this goes. But I'm going to put it there. I get 1 money, and I get 1 resource of my choice. What do we want? Grapes. When do we want them? Now. Although... I kind of want that. I'm going to take pottery. It's kind of like grapes, just not as edible. Right, that's it. I've had my turn. So now we do the 2-player thing. We reveal the card. Everything in here gets promoted. So this hoplite to a 1-star, and then this one to a 2-star. Right? And we're placing a Plaza. Yay! So a Plaza is going around here, and it goes adjacent to 2 tiles if possible. I believe. I think that's the rule. Just going to double check that. 2-player game. Placing a Plaza. Choose an empty space adjacent to 2 Cadmea tiles. Yes. Okay, there you go. Done. Then we do the Fate tile. Now, I'd forgotten about this one. Oh, never mind. Right. It's actually a very good one. Better in my previous game. I get points for level of my citizens in the city. I've only got 2. And then if I wanted to, I could spend 2 pottery to get that again. I'm not going to. I'm not going to spend 2 pottery to do that again. It's not worth it. I don't think 2 pottery for 2 points. I don't think that's worth it. That's it. That's the end of that round. We go to next round. Again, turn order has stayed the same. So we are... What's she doing? She's building. Right. So which one she's building from? Stack number 3, which is here. Where is she building it? Well, we have purple and yellow. So is there anywhere in the game where she can get purple and yellow? There. Is there any way where she can get more? No. 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 I think it's here. She's getting 2 colour matches here. And I think that's the best. So she goes there. In fact, is that 2 colour matches? No, it's not. I'm getting my colours wrong again. That's only 1. That's 1 colour match. What about here? That's only 1 colour match. Oh, right. Is there anywhere that she can get 2? We're looking for purples opposite each other and yellows opposite each other. There isn't. There's nowhere that she can get 2. Okay, which means there's lots of places she can get 1. So we are looking at this arrow here, which means starting here. Yeah, well, she can get 1 by going there. So she goes there. She's matched 1 roof, which is 2 points. Pop, pop. Done. Use the tiebreaker. Is that not what I've done? Let me just check that, if that's what you mean. Roll a citizen die to select the stack. Yes, find the space with the most matching roofs for the top tile on that stack. I did. Okay, yeah, I did. Okay, great. I thought I'd got that right. That was her first action, I believe. Yeah, I think that was her first action. Her second action is she's taking 2 contracts. Okay, and we know not to refresh the offer. So is there a green one? Yes, there is a green one. So she takes the green one. It's got 4 resources that it needs. That means she gets 8 points. Oh, I was holding my own. Then she takes a second one. Now at this point, she's actually got 1 of every colour. So she takes the one that she's got the fewest of, which is all of them. If tied, that one needs 4, that one needs 4, that one needs 3. So she goes to the left. So she takes that one. That's another 8 points. Suddenly, I'm being left behind. Like wacky races all over again. Dick Dastardly's off in the distance. And that was her second action. Gosh, right. Her Archon is wanting to promote a hoplite. Is there anywhere on the board which promotes a hoplite? There isn't. Okay. So she's going here, no, here, no, here, no, here, no. It would be here, but it goes to there. That card is going to go. Get replaced by that one. And we're promoting all of these. Wow. So that becomes a 3. That becomes a 3. And that becomes a 3. Gosh. That was a big turn for her. Right, my turn. I have a 2 citizen. Where is this 2 citizen going to go? Well, we're about to be attacked on here, but that's fine. I've got loads. In fact, I've got more than her. Huzzah. I think I'm going to place this 2 citizen on here. Now, this ability is that I can remove one of these tiles from my board, get the benefit of the tile, but the tile isn't built. It's gone. And I'm actually going to remove this one for a number of reasons. This one means I can spend a grape to move 2 spaces up on this track, which does 2 things, and that's gone out of the game. 2 things. I've passed this space, which means I've got this blessing. So from now on, every time I am placing into the citadel, I can match 1 extra roof colour to get an extra bonus. And I've reached this space, which is levelling up. So we're going to level up this one to a 3. Yeah. Okay. It is quite difficult to line up 3 or 4 sides, yes, but normally you only get 1 roof bonus. I now get 2, but there are later ones where you can get extra bonus. And I have seen somebody line up 3 bonuses, which is really powerful. And you can do it more easily with these neutral tiles that start off on your right-hand row, because they've got wild colours on the edge. You can match them with anything. Right, I think that was it. No, I haven't placed my Archon. I have not placed my Archon. Right. Well, the world is now my oyster. Kind of. I'm going to need money to pay my hoplites, so I think I'm just going to be very simple. I'm going to go there and get 2 money. Right. Then we do the special 2-player rules. So we're promoting everything on here. So that goes to a 3-star. That goes to a 3-star. That goes to a 3. That's it. And then we're placing a Plaza tile around here. Now, I believe it wants to go where there is 2, as long as it's adjacent to at least 1. It will try to choose adjacent to 2, but if not, it will happily go adjacent to 1. Where's the card? There. And it goes from the top clockwise round. So it's placing a Plaza tile there. There you go. A blessing tile from the Ares track adds 1 match activation. Yes, that's what I said, isn't it? I think I said that. Yeah, every time I place a tile in here, I can match 1 extra roof. I'm sure I said that. Right, so we've done that. Now we're resolving the attack. So the attack is coming in on here. It's strength 2 because it's the second attack. We are 0, so it is just a strength 2 attack. I've definitely defeated it because I've got 6. Which means I've got 4 more than what was needed. So I get 7 points. And remember, Antigone doesn't get any points from that. Also, I had 6. She had 3. Well, hang on a minute. Rewards. I get 1 money, and I get an extra 1 money because I was at least 3 over. So I get 2 money. That's pretty good. And just going to move these so that they're not showing on camera because that's bothering me. There you go. Yes, so I got 2 coins, 1 because I beat it and 1 because I beat it by 3. And I'm going to get the gate tile, which might get me extra bonuses at the end. Oh, I can't. So that end of game bonus has been blocked off. So I can't have that one. But I think that's it. Yeah, she doesn't get any points for it. So we've done. I got loads of points and I got the gate. Fantastic. Now, do I want to pay for them? Well, I'm not bothered about this one. This is only a 1 star, so we're not going to pay for him. So he comes back. Well, he leaves, and I have to recruit Dave. Dave is just a level 1 hoplite, and I'm going to pay 2 money for the other 2 to stick around. Now, you might think, why am I paying for them to stick around? Because row 4 and row 5, they've had their battles. They're not going to have any more battles for the rest of the game. Well, you can move them on the board. And in fact, this is what Antigone does. All you've seen so far was Antigone placing dice from her supply onto the board, hoplites. But actually, she prefers to move them around instead. So the next time, I mean, she's going to move them anyway, but she would prefer to move ones on the board that are no longer in use rather than move new ones. Right, what else do we do in combat? Citizen dice. If there were any citizen dice here, they would become councillors. And then we adjust the turn order, which doesn't change because she's still ahead of me. Oh, you can get the end of game scoring. Oh, yeah, there is another thing that allows you to take... Yes, which is what these are for. That's it. You can do it. Okay. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. That's it. That's that done. We are halfway through the game. Round 6. She's going first. She's taking 2 contracts. Again. Oh, wow. This is going to be a crazy amount of points. So she's got 2 reds. So she doesn't want to take another red. Out of the other colours, she's got 1 of each. So she wants green or blue. That one requires 3. That requires 4. So she takes that and gets... Oh, I gave her 2 points earlier. I did this wrong. I gave her 2 points earlier per resource, and it wasn't. So she's actually 8 back from where she was. If you spotted that in the chat and you told me about it, I apologise, I missed it. But I did that wrong earlier. This time I'm going to do it right. She gets 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. I did feel it was a little bit too good. And that's why I played it wrong. Then she takes a second one, which is going to be the green one. And it's got 3 resources on, so she gets 3 points. Yes, some of the cards get her 2 points per resource. Some of them get 1. Right, that's her first action done. Her second action is she's doing her destiny card. So she moves 1 up on this track. Then she's going to place a hoplite on the board and promote it. But again, she doesn't because they're already on the board. So which one does she move? She moves her highest value hoplite. That's this one. So it goes from a 3 to a 3 star. And where's it going to go? Well, the attack is coming in on row 2. And then the last one's going to be on 6. So she wants to go on row 2. She wants to go between the rows, if possible. And she wants to go adjacent to a Cadmea tile, if possible. So, oh, it could be there, or it could be there. Use the general tiebreaker. Okay, so it's pointing to that one, which is that tile, and is there. Okay, so that's where she's going with that one. Then, citizen. So she's going to do a 1-star citizen somewhere, and then a 2 citizen somewhere. And again, they're going here. So she wants to go around here, which she can. And then she wants to go around here again, which she can. She loves this tile. Yeah, that's it. That's her second action. Then we're going to move her Archon. So is there a... Ah, right. Finally, we have drawn... The arrow is pointing to the deck. So what that means is you have to reveal this card, and you weren't able to see what this was beforehand. So is there a space that provides this where she can place her Archon. And that's a space that gives money. Well, there is a space here that gives money. So that's where she goes. And then, oh, look at this. She's promoting all of these. So that goes to a 3-star, that goes to a 2, and that goes to a 2-star. Okay, and then because that card was used, it goes, and now the deck is empty. We shuffle and we get a new deck. So that's her go done. She's done her 2 actions. She's placed her Archon. It's now my go. What am I going to do? Well, at the start of my go, I don't have any dice in my supply. So I get this one back and I get that one back as well. And I get a new level 1. Right, I need to get more on the board. And I need to be building more of these. Oh, and the Metic tile goes. Yeah, so that's when the Metic tile goes, is when you do your refresh. Okay, so quite exciting because I can now build this. And because I've got this blessing, I can get 2 colour matches and it could be whatever I want. Now, my problem is there is a fight coming in here and I have no hoplites here whatsoever. So I need to do something which is going to get me hoplite over there in order to protect this. I mean, that's that one. Oh, contracts. Need to replenish the contracts. I've also, how am I doing for contracts? I've only got a green and a blue. That's not great. That really is not great. I'd love that one. That's a really good contract. Okay, decision space has just expanded quite a lot. Okay, I'm just thinking, if I do that, I can do that. That's 2 of them. That's that. This works? Yeah, kind of does. We haven't got any commanders yet. That might help. Opponent can forfeit a promotion. Oh, right, yes, but the solo can't. Yeah. So I'm thinking of building something. I mean, this kind of works. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put this here, and I'm actually going to build this one. Normally, I only get 1 colour match, but I can get 2 because of the blessing. And I'm going to put it here, because that's a brown match and another brown match, which means I get the brown match bonus twice, so I can promote 2 different hoplites, and then I can promote 2 different hoplites. Do I want to promote him to a commander? That's the question, because that gets me one of these. Now, I can't remember what these do. I remember them being good, but I don't want them here. I want them there. So no, I'm just going to level up that one to a 2-star and that one to a 1-star. And then that one to a 2 and that one to a 3. Right, so I've done my 2 brown colour matches and I've placed that, and that was that. Now I get to place my Archon, and my Archon is actually going to go 1 space over another player. Now your Archon can move as far as you want, but I'm only moving it 1 space to here, which means this promotes the other player. So that goes up to a 3-star, and I get 1 money and 1 contract. So I take a money, and I'm going to take this one. This is the one that I want. Yeah, I'm taking that one. Now, can I do that contract? Hell no. Pottery, 1 grape, 2 breastplate. I can't yet, but don't worry. I'm going to be able to. Oh, and I've just realised what this is. Never mind. That's fine. Right, okay. 2-player dummy rules. Everything along here gets promoted. So that goes to a 3-star. That goes to a 3-star. That goes to a 2-star. And then we're placing a Plaza tile there, which goes there. Done. Right, now we resolve this. So for every Strategos tile in the city, I get 2 points. I don't have any Strategos tiles in the city. I was going to get one and then I didn't. And for every 2 completed contracts, I get 1 point. So woohoo! I get 1 point. That could have been so much more. That's the end of that round. 4 rounds left. Antigone goes first. First action is promoting a hoplite twice and moving them into the city. So she takes her highest level one. I need to check this because that's already in the right row. She moves her highest value hoplite from a row where the battle was already resolved. That's one of these. So it's this one. It's a 2-star and the battle has already been resolved. So she promotes it twice to a 3-star. We're going to get some commanders in soon. And then she's going to place it according to this card. Okay, so it's definitely going somewhere along here. And according to this card, it's going here. Yeah, 2 rows next to a Cadmea tile. Yes, okay, that's good. That's her first action. Her second action is 2 up on this track, 1 up on this track. And then she's moving her Archon. According to this, is there a space on the board that gets grapes? There is. So she goes there and she levels up this. Okay, which means we have our first commander. So this is leveled up. It's gone from a 3-star. It's ascended, which means she places her first Strategos tile in this row here. And she removes, if it was rounds 1 to 6, oh, it's not. It's round 7. 7, 8, 9, 10. So she removes the bottom one. So a human player would choose a commander, but the dummy player literally just removes it from the game and then I can't choose it. But that's it. That's her 2 actions. That was her Archon placement. That was her promoting. That is her turn done. My go. I feel I'm falling behind. Because she's going to score a huge amount at the end of the game for these contracts. I assume she does. These contracts. I need some grapes and some breastplates. These contracts. What am I going to do? I want more people on the board here. But I also want to unlock... Oh, there's so many things I want to do. There's also this. This is a great space. That's also quite good. I don't have any hoplites here. Right. If this attack happens, it's strength 3, might be strength 4. If I don't have any defense whatsoever, I lose 3 points for every point of strength of the attack. I'm potentially losing either 9 or 12 points. So I absolutely need to get a hoplite up there. And there's a few ways of doing that. That's one way. That will do it. And in fact, that's probably the best way. Or I could place my Archon there, spending 1 minute to go across there, and that would do it. Or I could activate that, remove that, and that would do it. There are multiple ways to skin a cow. So the phrase goes. I think I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to activate that space. I'm going to remove this tile from the game, but I get to resolve its effect first, which is spend a breastplate to upgrade, so promote. So he's going to go from a 2 to a 2-star, and I'm going to place it... Doesn't really matter. I'm going to place it here. Yes. Okay, and that tile is gone from the game. And that's my go. No, that's my action. Now I get to do my Archon. Now, I have money, so I could go across an empty space. I could also go across here, but that would promote him. But I don't think I've got a choice. I need the... Oh, I need the resources. I could go across here, promoting that to get 2 money. I could just remove it from the board. That seems really weak. Yeah, I think that's quite inefficient, but I'm going to do it. I'm removing it from the board to get 1 money. I feel bad. I feel like there's an alarm going off inside of my head somewhere that I've just made the super inefficient move. But that's just how I live my life on a daily basis. You know, if I ever go to the shops and I don't buy everything that I need in one go, and then I have to go all the way back to the shops, I just feel like I'm playing a Euro game. And I've made a bad decision. Anyway, right, enough about Paul's shopping trips. That is, I believe, my turnover, which means we do dummy player rules. And I think it's this card. So everything here is going to get promoted. Oh, no, wait a minute. Did I do my... Yes, I did my hoplite movement. Oh, but that's not going to be enough. That's fine. I'm going to lose some points. That's fine. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so all sorts of things have happened here. These two are getting promoted. So that ascends and goes over here and gets her 3 points. This ascends. So I get a commander here, which means I get a Strategos tile. It doesn't matter. Row 4 or row 5 doesn't matter. But I get a commander. So I now need to remind myself, and there's a Plaza tile that doesn't get played. I need to remind myself what the commanders do. So some of them are ongoing effects. Yeah, I'm going to have to remind myself by looking in the actual rulebook of what the commanders do, because they are all different, and some of them were really powerful. So where are the commanders? Here they are, commanders. So which one is that? Immediately when gaining this commander, spend 2 drachma to place the matching standee on a council space of any monument. Oh, let's do that. I've got loads of money, so I'm just going to have this one. So I'm going to have this commander, and we're going to take the matching standee. If I can find the matching standee. Is it this guy? Nope. This guy? Nope. This one. There he is. Right. So I pay 2 money. And I basically place this on a council space on any monument. You may have a die on the same monument. However, the commander standee is not a die for any game effects that refer... Yeah, okay, so I can't place it on a blocked space. But which one do I want? Let's go for... What's that? Citizens on my estate? Oh, no, that's people on here. Let's go for... Separate groups. I've got 2 separate groups. Oh, that's blocked. Every 2 completed contracts? No. Every contract's the same colour? No. How far you are up this track? Well, I'm on space 5, so that's actually 5 points. If I went there, that's 5 points. Is it going to get any higher? Possibly. Whereas this one, right now, is 4 points. Am I going to be able to get any more than 4 points? No, I don't think I am. So I'm putting it here. So I'm going to claim that one. Right. Where was that? That happened because of the dummy player card that promoted everything in this column. Yes. So now we do the round. So we're at 3rd attack. It's coming in at 3 strength, 0. So it's a 3 strength attack. So I'm down by 1. I only had 2 and the attack was 3. Now I mentioned earlier on that I lose 3 points for every strength of the attack. That's only if you don't defend. If you don't defend at all, so if I wasn't there, I would have lost 9 points. I was there. I didn't have enough. I was 1 short, so I only lose 1 point. But that's fine. And yes, Antigone has 3 to my 2. So she gets the gate. Okay, that's it. That's the conflict done. But now we readjust the turn order, which doesn't change. But now we get to allocate where she goes. Now, these cards were used at the start of the game to determine which of those spaces are blocked off. And that adds a lot of variability to the game because you can't always do the same thing. These cards are also used in the solo game to decide where she's going to place her marker. So we go from top to bottom. Is that one free? No. Is that one free? No. Is that one free? No. Is that one free? Yes. So that's where she's going to place her marker. And that's it. That's how you determine where she places her marker. That's it. That's the end of round 7. We now go on to round 8. It's her turn first. Yeah, the Plaza was around here. And there wasn't one. Casper, you might be watching a minute or two back. I think some of your comments are coming through a minute or two after they're actually happening. So you might just want to scrub forward a bit on the on the YouTube. You might be, you might not. That last one that you said was right on time. So maybe not. Right. Okay. What's she doing? She's got two actions. She's resolving her destiny card. So she moves up to there. She's upgrading a hoplite. Oh, we've done that attack. So the final attack of the game is coming in here. So this is where the final attack is coming in. She's already got hoplites on the board here. She's moving this one. This is the one she's moving, and it doesn't matter where she places it because it's promoting, which gets her another commander. So that gets her level 4 Strategos tile on here, and she takes from the bottom, that commander has gone from the game. Okay, or there's a word live. If you press the word live, that zooms you forward to where, so it's actually live. Right. That's that. Then she's placing 2 of these on the board. So it's going to be a 1-star followed by a 2. Right, where are they going? Well, we need to look at this, which is this, and it's here. So she can. So she can put that there, and she can put that there. Okay, second action done. Archon. She wants to go and get some pottery. So she can. She goes there and promotes these 2, which means that ascends, getting her 3 points. And that promotes to a 2-star. Okay, that's her Archon movement done. That means that card has gone. Then it's my go. Yeah, I feel that I'm falling behind quite a bit here. I have the money. I should be doing more on here, but I just don't have. I don't have the tools. I don't have the resources. I'm not sure I actually have a plan. Where's the attack coming in? The attack's coming in here. That's for councillors on the board. Can I promote anybody? I can. Well, can I? Yeah. I mean, if I can somehow promote that one by getting a purple effect, and I can get a purple effect by building a building. How can I build a building? I can't because that's already blocked. Ah. Right. Have I got any other way of building a building? Yes, by completing this contract. In order to complete this contract, I'm going to need 1 lot of grapes and 2 breastplates. I can do that. There is a way that I can do this. Yes. Right. How? Yes. No. Yes. Right. I think I've worked it out. I think the puzzle has been worked out. I go here with a 2, which gets me 2 money and 1 resource. I'm going to take some grapes. That's my action. Then I place my Archon here. I demote one of my citizens. So this 2 goes down to a 1-star. Take one of his gold badges away. And I get 2 resources. I take 2 breastplates. Then I complete this contract. 2 breastplates, 1 grape, 1 pottery is another contract, and it allows me to place a building on the board and get 1 colour match, but an extra colour match because of this blessing. So whichever tile I place, I can get 2 colour matches. And I need, at least one of them needs to be purple. So, I think we're going to place this one. Yeah, we're going to place this one, and it's going to go here. So I'm going to get a purple colour match, and then I can either have white or gold. I'm going to have gold. So the gold colour match is a money and a resource. I'm going to take some more pottery because I like it. And then the purple colour match is going to be 2 different citizens promotions. One of them is going to be that, and the other one is going to be that. Which unfortunately only goes there for a point, but that's okay. That's okay. Right. that is my turn done. So now we do the random third player. Everything in here. Oh, wow. That's another ascension. That's another point. That goes up to a 2. That goes up to a 3. That goes up to a 2-star. And then a Plaza around here, which is there. Right. And then we do this. So this is 2 points for every councillor dice in here, which is me. I get 4 points. And then also every 2 buildings you have in the city is a point. I have 2. The neutral one that I placed doesn't count as mine. So I just get 1 extra point. That's the end of round 8. Oh, who's going to win? I don't know. Not me. Round 9. And we're going to have the final conflict of the game in round 9. Is that right? It feels that you should have a battle right at the end of the game. Have I set this up correctly? Just check. Let me just check. Yeah, no, done it right. Done it right. There isn't a battle. There's a battle in round 9. So, first action. 2 up on here. Oh, almost at the top. Then, take a contract. This is the one that's going to get her 2 points. It's going to be yellow. There isn't a yellow. So, of all of the other colours, which one costs the most resources? That one. That costs 4 resources. So, she gets 8 points. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Okay. And then she refreshes the offer. So, that comes out. And then the cards disappear. And we get 4 new cards. Okay, right. First action done. Yeah, there are only 4 battles per game. Second action. She's placing. She's not done much of this the whole game. Stack number 3, which is this one. And where's it going to go? So it's white and yellow. Is there anywhere that she can go to get 2 colour matches? Or even more? Yes, she can go there. That is definitely 2 colour matches because that's a wild card. Is there anywhere else? I don't think there is. Not with this particular. So it goes there and she gets 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's her 2 actions done. Yeah, I don't think there was anywhere else. No. So now she moves her Archon. And she wants to go somewhere where she can get a contract. Is there any way she can get a contract? There is. There. Oh, or there. There are 2 spaces where she can get a contract. So we need to look at the tiebreaker, which is this tile and then there. So she goes there. And there's no dice there, so she doesn't promote anything. Right. That's her turn done. My turn. I don't have any citizens. So I get all of these back, but then I get a new citizen. This time it's number 2. Citizen number 2. Yeah. Okay. Right. I've basically got 2 turns left. The biggest problem right now is that there is an attack here right now, and I don't have any hoplites here. If I don't get, I'm in the same situation as I was earlier. If I don't get any hoplites here, I am losing 12 points. So I absolutely have to get some hoplites there. How do I do that? Well, I've got a few ways of doing it. Oh no, that's just leveling up hoplites. That's moving hoplites. Well, that's moving 1 hoplite because I don't have any armor to deploy a second one. Oh, it's not going to be enough. It really isn't, is it? Right, okay, how are we going to do this? How are we going to get out of this situation that we are in? I've got to do my action first. It's action, then it's Archon, and then it's Metic tile. That is the only thing I'm seeing which allows me to deploy a hoplite. I've got to do it. It's really inefficient. But I don't think I've got a choice. I just lose too many points otherwise. And if I had a breastplate, I could move that one in and that one in. And it would be awesome. But it's not. So I don't. So I'm going to go here. And that's it. Now it's my Archon. So I can move across the plazas for free. That's the good thing about the plazas. Now then, is there anything up here that I might be able to do? Possibly. Possibly. I could go there, get a money in a contract, but I can't fulfill one of the contracts. I could fulfill that one. That could level up this. That could get me a commander. It would also place a 4 tile here. Oh. Oh. Is that useful? I'm not sure it is. I could promote other things instead. Yeah, okay. So, is that going to work? I haven't got anybody on the city. How am I doing with the contracts? What do I need? I need a red one. There isn't a red one available. Okay, I could do that. I've got loads of money. I can use money to buy. Oh, I've already done an action. It's placing my Archon. That's it. That's what I'm thinking about. I lost track there for a minute. I could go here. That's is that any good? Oh, okay. So I could move up here. That would get me this metic tile. I could then place that metic tile there, and I could place a building on the board, and I could place a building on the board and get 2 colour matches. And 2 colour matches could be promoting that hoplite that gets me a 4 in here. I think that's worth it. He says, let's do it. Let's do it. Right. So what am I doing? My Archon is spending 1 money to move over an empty space to go to here. That space gets me 1 money and move up on one of these tracks. I'm going to move up that track, which gets me this metic tile. Then in step 4 of my turn, I place this metic tile here. That allows me to place a building on the board. Normally get 1 colour match, but I get 2 colour matches. And I want to colour match brown to upgrade my hoplite. So I place this one. And I can place it here, which is purple and brown. So I've colour matched. Is that right? Is that purple or is that brown? I think that's purple. So I've colour matched purple and I've colour matched brown, which means I get both of those things. So I'm going to level up 2 different citizens. So that goes from a 2 to a 2-star, 2 to a 2-star, and 2 different hoplites. That 2-star is going to go to a 3. And this hoplite goes from a 3-star, he ascends. Now what that means is that I get to place my next Strategos tile, which is a 4, in here, but only the first player to place a Strategos tile in a row gets a leader. Yes, exactly right. That's exactly what I was thinking, Casper. It's always worth it because I've gone from a 3 effectively to a 4. And that commander, and I don't get the commander, but it was still worth it. And it saves me a coin because I don't even have to pay him anymore. Not that money's a problem. Right, I think I'm happy with that. That's it. That's the end of my turn. So now we do the dummy 3rd player rules. Everything in here gets promoted. So that goes from a 3 to a 3-star. That goes from a 2 to a 2-star. That goes from a 2-star to a 3. We place a Plaza around here, and it wants to go adjacent to 2 if possible. And then we resolve the conflict. So this is the 4th battle. So the default strength is 4, 0. So we have a strength 4 battle coming in. I was going to say, where's my hoplites? Panic. No, I have that. So I don't get any points, but I did manage to fight it off, so I get that. My opponent, Antigone, has 5. So she wins, she gets the gate, but that's it. The battles are all done. And then we change turn order, but that doesn't happen. Then we resolve these cards. So where's she going to go? She wants that one. Right, then it's me next. I'm going to grab that one. And then she's going to go... Can't have that one. Is that one still available? Yes, that one is still available. It goes there. Okay, right. That's... Oh, paying hoplites. Oh, I didn't need to. Awesome. Right, we are almost done. We are going into round 10, and the final scoring tile allows each player to spend 1 money to get points equal to the lowest position on the track. So I would spend 1 money to get 1 point. Or if I spent 2 grapes, I could get the highest position on the track, which is there. So that's it. We're going into the last round. What is she doing? Well, in her last round, and I think I've got this wrong. Yeah, I've obviously done something wrong at some point because she should only have 3 cards left in her pile. So I've missed an action at some point. She did that one and then that one. That was round 1. Round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5, round 6, round 7, round 8. Yeah, I have forgotten. I have missed one of her actions at some point in the game, and I thought I was being really careful. I'm just going to remove it. If I win, it's a false win, but I'm just going to remove it. So she's got 3 cards left. The bottom card in her deck is actually the Destiny card. So she will do that. And then there's something printed here that I don't know what that does, but we'll find out in a minute. So the first action is she's placing a building on the board. It's building number 1. And she wants to colour match as many as possible. It's purple, purple, yellow, yellow. So where can she go to match as many colours as possible? No, here. No, yes, here. That will match 2. Anywhere else that will match 2? I don't think there is. So she goes there. And she gets 4 points. Okay. And then I'm going to remove the action. And that's her first action done. Her second action. She's going to move up 2 of the track that she doesn't favour, which is that one. And I think I forgot to give her 2 points for there. And she's placing a citizen. She doesn't have a citizen. She's run out of citizens, which means, I believe, if there are no citizens, she promotes her die with the highest power in the city. So the 3 goes to a 3-star. That's her 2 actions done. Yes. Okay. So now, her Archon. Unless I didn't do this. Yeah, okay. So I have a question now, Casper. I didn't get this far in my practice game earlier on. She's now about to do her Archon, but as you can see here, the top card is this. So I think, what does this mean? She removes her Archon from the game instead of placing it, and she levels up all of her citizens. Yeah, that's what that means. There you go. No Archon. So she doesn't place her Archon. Instead, she levels up all of her citizens in the city. There you go. If you don't know what the rules mean, Paul, try and guess what the icons mean, and you will probably get it right. It's a good test of the graphic design to see if you can actually work out what the icons mean without reading the rulebook. And this game gets a pass for that. So that's it. That's what she's done. That's her Archon placement. And that is her... Oh, there... Ah, no, sorry. She was supposed to have done this first. Yeah, she was supposed to have resolved her action first because she gets 3 actions in the last round. Okay, which is 1 space up on there. She's got to the top. She gets 8 points. I've totally lost this game. Totally lost it. She's upgrading a hoplite. Is that this one? I think that is this one. Yeah, I don't think it matters at this stage. So it promotes that one, and she gets another commander card, but that's not going to get her any points. And then she's leveling up her citizens 1, and then another 2. So that goes to a 3-star, and then that 3-star gets ascended and goes over there for another point. Oh dear. Oh dear, dear, dear. And then we do all of the ones in the city, and yeah, now we're done. That is her turn done. My final turn of the game. What am I going to do? Wow. I don't know. I've lost the plot. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to be able to do. I've got so much money, and I don't need this money. I'm not going to be able to get a red contract and fulfill it, which means I'm not going to have a full set. That makes me sad. I can place on the board and can do 2 things, which is great, but are those 2 things going to actually get me anything? Potentially taking a contract and fulfilling a contract. But again, is that actually going to get me anything? I'd love to be able to get 2 grapes. If I get 2 grapes, that's 6 points. That's probably my best bet. And the 2 grape space is surrounded. Ugh, by my hoplite. What are you doing there? Go away. Time for retirement. So I could go here and just remove that. Oh. Sorry, could go here and remove that. That's not worth it. That's not worth it. That's placing and that's getting roof bonuses. I could get like 3 roof bonuses. And if one of them's white, I could get a contract. Now you can only ascend, I believe, this is a rules check. I think you can only ascend from in the city. I don't think you can ascend from your estate. So there's no point me putting a dice on here and then trying to level it up. If I'm going to get another dice over there, I need to get them in the city. And I need to somehow do loads of promotions. And I've just noticed this. That's probably my best bet for my Archon. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to use my 2-star. And it's going to go here. And I'm going to pay 2 money to do both of these things. One of them is to get 1 money and take a contract. And the contract I'm going to take is... No, hang on a minute. I'll do that in a minute. I'm going to do this first. I'm going to demote this citizen from a 2-star to a 2 in order to take 2 resources. The 2 resources I'm going to take are the 2 resources that I need for one of these. Are any of these promotions? Yes. In fact, I've got the resources for that. I didn't need that. Oh. Right. Sigh. Okay, so let's just rethink this. I don't think I need those resources. So let's just slight undo. I'm not going to demote that one, and I'm not going to pay the 2 money. In fact, I'm just going to go there, and I'm just going to do that, which is to gain 1 money and gain a contract. Then I'm going to complete this contract, which is going to cost me 2 pottery, and I can upgrade 2 dice or the same dice twice and recall my Archon. So my Archon comes back, and I'm going to upgrade that one twice. It's a 3-star. if I can somehow, which I can, yes. Now I'm going to place my Archon here, which is one step up that track, which gets me 2 points, small victories, and one step up that track, which promotes a citizen from a 3-star over here, which gets me another point. Oh. No, I tell you what, I am going to pay the 2 coins and demote to take 2 grapes. There you go. Right. Okay. Undid the undo. Right. So that was my action. That was my Archon. I don't have a Metic tile. That's it. Dummy player. Everything in here gets promoted, and we place a Plaza there. Right. That's that. And then we do the scoring. Yeah, then we do the scoring. So I am going to spend 2 grapes to basically get 7 points. If I didn't have the 2 grapes, I would have spent 1 money to get 2 points. But that's it. That's that tile done. What have I missed? I'm sure I've missed something. I feel that I've missed something, but nobody in the chat is telling me that I've missed anything. So we now go to end of game scoring, and I haven't got this far in my previous test. So you score according to the normal rules. Antigone scores normally for dice in the city and sets of contracts using the gates that she collected in the most optimal way possible. Oh, these are her gates. I forgot about that. Gates are wild cards for contracts. Oh, wow. She's going to get loads. So I do actually have a full set. I forgot about that rule. Each of her councillors is worth 12 points. Okay, so she just scores 12 points for that. Ah, councillors. We're supposed to allocate these at the end of the game as if there'd been a conflict. So she's going on there. Can't go on there. So she goes on there. Then her next one is going on. Oh, she's gone on the one I wanted. Right. Which one is worth the most points for me? That's worth 6. What's that? 2 points for every 2 colour matches. Well, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9 colour matches. So that would actually be 8 points. Whereas the one that I've just taken would only be 6. Okay, well, I'll have that one instead. For each tile with at least... Oh, sorry. For each tile with at least 2 colour matches. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the same. Yeah, it's 8 points. Okay, so for each tile with at least 2 colour matches. Okay, so... Let's do her scoring first, because this is way more than mine. So how does she score these the best way possible? Well, she's got 2 green, 2 blue, 2 red and 2 orange. So that's 2 full sets of contracts, which is on the player aid, final scoring. Yeah, 1, 4, 9 and 16. So it's 16 points times 2. So she gets 32. That's 103. Okay. And then she's got a set of 3, which is another 9. Yep, I think that's the best thing she can do. So that's a green one. That was an orange one. And that was a red and a blue. So now she's got a set of 3, a set of 3, and another set of 3, which is another 9 points. I think that's the optimum way of doing it. Okay, me... I've got 1 full set, which is 16. And then I've got 1 extra, which is 1. Okay, that's contracts. Now, going back. Councillors. So she gets 12 points for every councillor. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 60 points. Uh-oh. I've been lapped. I'm going to put that on there. She's 181 at the moment. I think that's right. It did say she gets 12 points for each of her councillors. Right. So that councillor for me is worth 8. This counsellor is worth 12. I'm catching up. 100 to go. This one is worth 12. I've unlapped myself. And then this one is worth 7. Okay, right. Dice in the city, 1 point per power. So I get 3. She gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. She scores normally for dice in the city and for sets of contracts. Okay. Each suit may be used for both scoring options. We've done that. We've done that. Remaining components. Yay, this is where I'm going to catch up. So if I have, how many points am I short? I am like 89 points short. So if I have 267 money left, then I win. How much have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not 267. I get 2 extra points. Well, there you go. I didn't win. The solo mode is clearly a bit beyond me. This is my first full game of the solo mode, and my objective here is to show you how the solo mode plays. But I got well and truly beaten. Now, Casper, let me know what I did wrong that my score is so bad. Did I just play badly? Or is the bot hard to beat? Because this was on the easiest level. There are challenge cards that you can put in the game to make it even harder if you want to. It is quite a lot. Okay, so this did happen a lot. So 188 is quite a lot, but I think I scored it correctly. I may have missed something. Apologies if I did, but with these live playthroughs, it's quite difficult to keep an eye on everything going on at the same time. I know I didn't play as optimally as I could have done, but 188 is quite a high score for the bot. Now, this was a sponsored playthrough, so I'm not going to give you any opinions on whether I like the game or not, but what I will talk about is whether the solo mode is Paul-friendly. So for those of you that don't know, a Paul-friendly solo mode is where I'm not having to go through lots of steps to work out what the bot does. And this game, I'm going to divide it into 2 parts. Part of this game is very Paul-friendly, and another part of the game is not so Paul-friendly. So the part of the game that is Paul-friendly is the way that these action cards work. And I really, really like the way that these action cards work, in that you essentially, you flip over the card and you follow the instructions on it. Now, some of those are, I'm going to move up 2 on this track. Oh, I'm going to move up 1 on this track, right? And personally, I am a big fan of when the bot never spends resources, never spends money. Everything it does is free, because I don't want the hassle in my solo games of having to track how much money and resources a dummy player has. I don't want to do that. So the fact that it just does whatever it wants for free is fine. And I really like the way that the action card system works. So that bit is quite Paul-friendly. The bit which isn't so Paul-friendly, and I was managing to do it most of the time, is the complexity in where it does something. Now, it isn't too complex, but it's slightly beyond my comfort zone, so for what I would class as a Paul-friendly game. But once you understand it, and once you work out what it's trying to do, it actually does make sense. And they've done it in a very good way, because a human player would have to actually go through a lot of decisions about where I want to place my dice on the board. And this kind of abstracts that down, and it does do a good job of it. And if you are a solo gamer, you're not going to have any problem with it. But for me, I had to use a little bit more mental energy than I would normally like in a solo game, where I had to go, okay, so it's doing that, and it's going there, and then it's going down, and it's going round, and then it's going round like this. But it works. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I think it works brilliantly. That part is just a little bit outside of my comfort zone as a pull-friendly solo mode. But bearing in mind, I've only learnt the solo mode for this morning. I'm not an expert at this game whatsoever. My job here was just to show you how it plays. Let's have a look at the chat. See, yeah, Zach says it's good. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you haven't seen my 3-player playthrough, I would definitely check that out, because this part of the game and the way that you are moving your Archons over other people's dice to promote them, and potentially moving over your own dice, which demotes them, so you don't want to do that if you can help it, but you can actually move wherever you want in this network. And you didn't really see that with me, because I wasn't really moving it that much, but in the 3-player game that we played, we were definitely moving around there a lot. And yes, dice would be way too random. I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want dice to determine where it goes. You could do that, but it's too random, and that would represent playing the game with some random player who makes random decisions, and that wouldn't fit with the game. The general concept of the solo modes from Board and Dice is that they do try to represent what another player would do, so they are a little bit clever. Yeah, I wouldn't want that being too random. And a winning score for a player is between 150 and 180. So that's the kind of score that you should be aiming for in a multiplayer game. I scored 101. So what Casper's saying is I'm rubbish at the game. And that I didn't do as well as I should have done. And I know that. From my previous games of this, it just didn't work out for me in this game. Probably because I was concentrating a bit too much on the other things. Anyway, we are all done. That is it. This game has been covered in the multiplayer video and the solo video. You now hopefully have as much information as you need to help you make a decision about whether this is the kind of game that you want to buy. If you are attending Essen Spiel this year, come by the Board and Dice booth. This will be on at least 1 or 2 tables, and it will be being demoed constantly for 4 days. I'm going to be working there in the mornings, so if you want to try and get a demo from me, you can. Otherwise, get a demo from somebody else on the team. But yes, it will be released at Essen Spiel this year. If you're not going to Essen Spiel, you'll be able to get it at your normal friendly local gaming store or through your online retailer of choice. But yeah, it's going to be there, and it'll be at GridCon as well. It might even be in the Hot Games library at GridCon, because I think this is one of the bigger releases for this year. We're all done. I'm going to disappear now and go shopping and get some dinner, and then I'll be back later on with another live stream. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks again to Board and Dice for sponsoring the video, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.